All right. What's going on? Mic check. Turn this off. Hello. What is going on? Round of applause. That was a quick one. Appreciate all you folks tuning in here nice and early. Welcome. How's it going? I went fishing earlier today. Unfortunately, still no fish, even by the 18th. Usually by now, I think it's like, at least the latest is the 12th. So this is probably the worst year in a while, at least in terms of early fishing. So I hope it gets good. But so far, nothing. But today the water temps were much higher than they've been, so at least we had that going. The water temps were probably in the 40s. Mid to high 40s, and now I would say they were in the mid to high 50s today, just from the sun. But, yeah, we got the new striper video out, Subsurface flies. There's like 10 plus subsurface flies, 20-something minutes long, in depth. I had a killer migraine yesterday while I was doing the voiceover. So hopefully I don't sound too lethargic, but I was like dying while finishing that video yesterday. But I'm pretty happy with it. It came out pretty good. Filmed a bunch of, filmed for a couple days, a bunch of different flies, And tonight we're going to be tying some flies as well. Not going to be a super long stream because I was in the middle of recording a Trench Crusade game for my second channel. So I'm on turn 3 now. I'm starting. So after this, I'm going to go back to filming that. My table back behind me is full of terrain, and there's a war going on. There's the sound of Jazeels and demons fighting. But we are going to be tying a couple flies tonight. So I have some SA 270 blue waters. Let me get our camera nice and focused too. And I figured I got a bunch of bucktail. Now, unfortunately, I really don't have anything hollow quality. I'm going to have to specially order some nice bucktail so we could do a video on hollow flies. But I was thinking we could tie some either bucktail deceiver. I want to tie some larger flies that push water. Not too large, but 6-7 inches. You know what I mean? Good searching flies. So I was thinking a bulkhead deceiver could be fun, but maybe we'll just start off with a classic bucktail deceiver. So, because these are the flies that I use the most throughout the year, essentially. Athanasio, how you doing? I bought a guided boat trip out around Cape Cod at the Trout Unlimited auction. I'm pumped for that. Oh, hell yeah, dude. There you go. What time of year is it? Very cool. So we're going to get a hook in the vise here. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the new video. I think I've gotten a nice little groove to it. This is a little bit easier than talking about fishing in terms of it's easier to go film a fly and just discuss the flies and stuff. But I am going to have to make some videos on some. We have topwater next. I'm doing a video on topwater flies. And then I think we're going to do a video on, I don't know, I'm thinking stripping techniques will probably be the next one after that. I don't know, I'm still trying to figure it out. Let me go ahead and move all this crap. Let me move you back so I can get in there and not have to deal with anything. Be comfortable. Thing about filming wargaming stuff is my back always ends up getting a little worn out. So 2 turns in, I was already feeling it. It's also I'm learning a new game. I went out today, I got skunked, but soon things will change. Yes, exactly. Soon things will change. I've been going every day and still nothing, but that's all right. Soon things will change. Yes. You'd imagine for June, nice. You might do some sight fishing then in June. If not, you'll definitely get some fish over in Cape Cod for sure. That time of year. All right, so I'm thinking we do like a bulkhead, or no, a bucktail deceiver to start off with. Now I'd love to do some like white in the tail section. I don't really have any lawn white bucktail, so let's just use some colors. I have some really nice pink here, and I think some of it's pretty lawn. Hey Jen, what's going on? How you doing? I think we have some fairly long bucktail we can use for the tail section. I think we should probably incorporate some feathers, though, to get some nice action. But we are going to do 360-degree bucktail tie here to start off. We could just use ostrich as well. I think maybe we'll just use some like fluorescent pink ostrich for the tail. Very sharp hook point, as you can see. Kind of just spread that around a little bit. Used to just tie the bucktail on top to start, but after tying Johnny Kane's Kinky Muddler, I kind of like doing this, like this. Okay. So, doing a bucktail deceiver. Let's get some ostrich roll. I've been liking regular deceiver flat wane and then skip some space and wrap Bill's body braid and then tie at the eye. Kind of like a raise fly, but a deceiver. Yeah, nice. Yeah, kind of like similar to almost like Bonnaroo bucktail sort of style. Yeah, it has been cold. Ostrich. I got to get some nice white ostrich roll. Because honestly, white is like the #1 color you use in general for striper fishing during the day. If there was one fly you could ever... I mean, it's going to be a fly tying video in the future because we've tied a deceiver many times, but at some point when we have a nice gap of deceivers, I can do a... the only fly you... If you could only fish one fly, I'll come up with some clickbaity title. But essentially just an all-white deceiver. Lou Tabery talks about it. A lot of just good fishermen that have been fly fishing since like the 60s that I talked to. They're like one guy that I clam with. He doesn't really fly fish as much now, but he's been doing it for a long time. And never really got super into it, you know what I mean? But just caught a bunch of fish, you know, back when it was good, when the fishing was really good. A lot of people stopped fly fishing when the fishing declined. I was like, yeah, I'm making a video on all these different flies. He's like, did you tell him that all-white deceiver is the only fly you need? So it's funny. You hear that a lot. Really, you only need just like an all-white, simple streamer fly, and you can just do 90% of your fishing, you know? Have you ever tried the Adachi Clouser? No, I haven't. And bless you. No. No, I haven't. Sounds interesting, though, just from the name. Whoever tied that one. We'll have to check it out. So we got some, you know, we could put some flash, and we probably should. What's the difference between that and a normal clouser? Steve out of ICO. So what's the difference between that and a normal clouser? I'll have to check it out though. Yeah, it's interesting in our new video, like I would say probably half of the flies are just variations of a deceiver, which is funny. This fly is a evolution of the deceiver, the bucktail deceiver that is. Super boring. It is super boring, but there's something to be said about sometimes being productive over exciting. You know what I mean? 60-degree Gamakatsu. So is that really the difference? It's just a clouser but tied on a jig hook? Yeah, I used to tie all of my half and halves on the Eagle Claw 413 jig hook with a 90-degree jig hook bend. But I found those hooks to be a little lacking in terms of, what do you call it? In terms of strength. Even though I had some customers catch some big, like, redfish and stuff like that, bull reds. We need an ostrich hollow, like roadie ties. Are you talking about, like, how you can wrap the ostrich hurl on, like, a beast fly or something? Or are you talking about ostrich tied in with the hollow ties there, Mike? Yo, Marcus, how you doing? Long time no see is right. Yeah, everything's going good, man. Can't complain. What do you call it? Been fishing every day, no fish, so I guess I can complain, but, you know, at least I'm going fishing. Would love to see a difference between a fly tied with a straight shank versus an octopus style in the swim tank. Okay. Yeah, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. The swim tank is nice. Mine is like the pump is getting worn out, and there's many times you've seen the fly swimming sideways, right? Also, let me turn this. Let me know if the camera's not in focus or not in frame, because I'll move the vise around a lot, and I get a little antsy while I'm tying, you know what I mean? Because my back's kind of messing with me. What do you call it? The swim tank's not a really good way of showing off flies. The American eel fly by Chris Windrum was swimming sideways, and somebody's like, oh, if you put a lead keel, that thing will swim fine. But we took that exact fly and swam it in the water, and it was swimming beautifully. It was one of the best looking flies in the weighted fly video. The same thing goes with the Whistler. The Whistler was swimming completely sideways, and it's also just due to, like, the pound leader I was using, but it also just do, you know, where the leader's like this long on the swim tank, right? So you're not really able to turn over a lot of flies. Ostrich in the hollow. All right, yeah, we'll do a bucktail hollow. You know, I bought these specifically because I did an in-person fly tying lesson about hollow flies. Unfortunately, out of the 30 bucktails that I went and looked at in person, maybe 50, I took every single one out of the package and looked. I found very little that actually were, like, suitable to hollow tie. And even then, this stuff is like, not really. But you know what? We could use it. What I was thinking about doing is tying some squimpish hollows, because what I do is I mix the squimpish hair and the bucktail together. And the squimpish hair gives me the length, but the bucktail gives me the flare and the profile. So we could do that as well. But how about we tie an all bucktail one? Because it's been a while since we've done that. And I'll just use this bucktail that I have. It's not the greatest, but, you know, it will work. And you want some ostrich on the, I'm assuming, the inside. Now, you can try the ostrich on top, but let's just do a hollow tie. We'll do it in various ways, and we'll take a look here. Now, again, I don't have really nice bucktail for this. Now, do you know exactly how they do that, Mike? Are you talking about where they tie the ostrich on the inside? Or is it ostrich? Because you can do it multiple ways. You can tie your hollow tie, fold it back, then tie ostrich on top. So the ostrich is essentially kind of pushed out by the bucktail. The next thing you can do is tie a hollow tie, and then on the inside of the hollow tie, tie your ostrich hurl. And it's not going to be under tension, but it'll be on the inside, kind of fluttering inside. Those are the two options. So if you know how it's tied, let me know. Because there's a bajillion different ways. I don't know the exact way. Are you talking about just ostrich hurl hollow tied? I've never done that. I don't... That would be interesting. I'll show you what I'm thinking. How about that? And then we can go from there. Now, picking actual suitable bucktail for a hollow tie. Oof. Again, these aren't the best tails, but you know what? I'm just going to grab whatever. A little trick. Let me zoom out here. Yo, Barfy, what's up? Audio Doctor. How you doing, man? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Really busy with work this month? Gotcha. Yeah, I'm going to, I have to film one video for Sunday, and, like, really I got to film for Sunday, Monday. But, I really have a lot of fly tying to do, so I just need to put my head down and do it. Okay, so this bucktail's not really long enough. What about if I grab this stuff? Now, look, I saw Ben Wally do this, and this is a really good example, a good way of showing it. He did a great job. Like, out of all this bucktail for this nice long hair, I can grab this and thin it out before cutting it. And what do we end up with? That's like how much bucktail we have at that size. Isn't that unbelievable? I can't get a great ostrich hollow body, but I can get a great ostrich hollow body, but can't get the bulk in the head like they do. What's the roadie ties you said? Is this like, can I look it up on Instagram or something? Let me, oh, that's my Twitch stream. Let me see what you're talking about. I mean, unfortunately, you can't post it in chat or something, but can you, and you're not in our Discord, I think. Unless you're in the Discord, you could share it. Let me take a look. Roadie ties? I'm not seeing that. Is that like a YouTube channel? Is it, or like, who am I? Roadie on the fly. Gotcha. I think I know who you're talking about. Sounds familiar. Might be following them. Follow back. I guess I'm not following them. I will. I'm taking a look. Ostrich hollow. There's an ostrich hollow right there. So there's definitely bucktail. There's definitely bucktail. It's not just ostrich from the looks of it. Unless the bucktail's just in the head. It's also a lot of ostrich earl. I'm just trying to see how they're tied, just looking at the fly. Those look like ostrich hollows, quote unquote. You know what? So it looks like it could be wrapped. There's a very good chance he's wrapping that ostrich earl. Like palmering it. Oh, he ties flies for Captain Merritt White. There you go. How does he do it? I can't tell if he just ties it on there or if it's wrapped. If he palmers it. Does he explain how he does it anywhere? Or? I don't think I've gotten to meet him at a show either, this guy. Well, we're just going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Roadie on the fly, eh? Okay. So we're going to do some hollow ties. We're going to try a couple different techniques. We also need a good amount of bucktail. We're just going to do this all in one shot. I was watching Jason Taylor's Master on the Fly, because it's been a while. If we're doing all one color, especially like this, we need to just tie it all in. And I think a lot of times, I might be a little almost too sparse in my hollow ties. I think we might need to go with more material. And we only want to do a couple loose wraps, like a very small amount. Kind of pseudo stack this here. Just kind of have the tension of the bobbin really holding it down. So there's a couple different ways we can do this, right? First way we're going to do it is like a regular hollow tie. And then we'll tie I think you could hardly ever be too sparse. Yeah, but also sometimes like we're trying to build like let's say a bunker or herring profile. There's times that like the hollow fly that I tie, the hollow fly that is in the new striper video, it's a very sparse version. And you can see that compared to something like some of the flies like somebody like Predator Prey sent me some photos and stuff like that. We're essentially doing a regular hollow tie, but now once we build up our thread dam, I'm going to tie some ostrich and start tying the ostrich 360 degrees around the fly. I wonder if I should start using mono for hollow flies too. I've always used this Danville, but maybe the mono is better. I don't know. Might help me with my hollow flies in general. So now what we'll do is we'll take ostrich, and again, you want to leave your hollow flies pretty, you want to leave them pretty open, I'd say. Because you're going to want to hang dry it, essentially. So this is what I was thinking he's doing, but there's a good chance he's like palmering this ostrich curl. I almost feel bad using this. But I'm going to have to fish this fly now that you're asking me to tie this because it's going to have so much ostrich curl in it. I think he's just like taking, he could either be tying it on the inside or outside, right? I'm not certain. Or you could be palmering it, where you strip it from the quill and you start wrapping it. But I mean, there's a lot of ostrich curl, so there's a good chance he's kind of taking it and I think just tying it 360. Maybe he's taking bunches. And the whole idea behind this is the bucktail hollow tie underneath is going to provide support for our ostrich curl. I'm going to tie this pretty long on this length, but then we'll make it much shorter. Now, again, I'm not certain how he does it, but my biggest problem is that I got a bunch of random material when I got into fly tying. I have no idea what flies I can use for it. I should have just got a few bucktail colors. Yeah, bucktail goes a long way. That being said, what sort of materials do you have? Because you can still use all this stuff. Unless you got like highly specific, random, weird material. But even then, I'm sure you could find a use for it. But I know what you're talking about. I usually end up going through so much white and pink bucktail that's like really what I wish I just had the most of. So I'm going to be honest. I mean, this kind of looks similar in effect. I think you might just need to use a ton of ostrich curl. I'm not certain. I think if you palmered the ostrich curl, that's one way to like really build a beautiful body up without probably using too much. Actually, probably using a ton because I mean you have to strip it off the quill. But so now you see you have that ostrich curl laid over that body. You always use mono for hollow flies, yeah. Well, you know what? Let's tie this one with regular thread, and then we'll use mono. I didn't want to use my mono because I have to tie so many kinky muddlers. That's what I'm using it for. And I only have so many spools. So, like, I ordered, like, I think I had 10 spools of mono. I was like, surely that's enough. And, yep. Nope, I'm down to 1.5. And I've got a lot more flies to go, so. But you see, I mean, we're essentially building a nice profile here. So there's a good chance this is kind of how he does it. Man, that fluorescent pink is so vibrant on camera with the settings that I have my camera on right now. .06 mono. Yeah, I don't know what the diameters are. All I know is I use the fine mono from what's it called? Danville. All right, what happened to that bucktail? Oh, it's in my lap. Okay. So now we got to put some super glue on here, something we talked about with hollow ties, so the thread doesn't slip. It's kind of important. After each tie. Oh, dude, my back is already acting up. And again, we want that profile. You can see though we're building up that profile. So I think just tying the ostrich on top might be the key here. It's quite a lot of ostrich, so you'd have to charge some money for these flies. And we're going to do that essentially for each collar. Which, by the way, I think if we just tied it in all this color, this is probably going to be... This is the exact pink and color that I used pretty much for like 10 years. Just tying all pink bucktail deceivers, though. Not hollows, but... Get some nice bucktail cut out. And again, it's sort of thing where we can kind of pull all the shorter hairs out of the way. And this hair isn't even the best. It's kind of stiff. But it was something that I found that we could use. I was given an in-person fly tying instruction on hollow flies. So, or hollow technique, I guess. It's the way I approached it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not even a lot of bucktail. It's covered in ostrich turtle, but, you know, the bucktail, you could still see my hand through there, other than the ostrich. So I think you need enough bucktail in these. Like, sometimes I go almost a little too little, or have too little bucktail. I think that's, like, a pretty good amount. I mean, we could even, I think, just add a little bit more, potentially. Because we need that support underneath. How are you tying these, Mike? If you don't mind me asking in YouTube chat. By the way, I got to figure out how to get both chats on the screen. I'm doing it. Every other Twitch streamer does it, so I'm going to have YouTube and Twitch chat on the screen at some point. I got to figure out how to do this now. Which, that in itself will be a thing. Tying a pink horror? Oh, yeah, exactly. And when a bluefish bites it off, it magically regenerates to a blue hollow fly. A little bit shorter, smaller. What's going on, Rev? Give it up for the 11-month membership. Sheesh. I couldn't see my monitor there. Round of applause. Oh, we lost some bucktail in this. I'm going to pinch this. See if we can salvage these for a later date. Yeah, I don't I don't think that was enough bucktail. I think we need a little more after spreading it around. By the way, I'm just putting a bunch of excuse me, I'm just putting a bunch of tension on the thread here. I'm going to put a little bit more on top, I think. Now, the other option is we tie the ostrich on the inside. But the one thing is, when tying a hollow fly, the least amount of thread wrapping, the better, before folding it back. It's easier to build your thread dam. A lot of times, I've been noticing, because I'm trying to improve my hollow technique in general. There's a lot of amazing hollow fly tiers out there. Ben Wally, Andrew Warshaw, Predator Prey Flies, Jason Taylor, all these people. And I haven't spent as much time just perfecting hollow techniques as I have, like, tying all of my commercial flies over the past 10 years. So I'm trying to, like, get a better understanding. The least amount of thread wrappings, the better. I hollow the ostrich as well. Interesting. So I guess what we could do then is, we want minimal thread wrapping. Let's try it. We'll tie some ostrich on the inside, and then we could tie... So you're saying you tie ostrich on the inside and outside. Interesting. Now, when we move forward, I'm assuming we want to shorten the length of the ostrich. Otherwise, this thing is going to foul like crazy. So, I guess on the inside of the hollow collar, you can keep it a little bit longer, because we're still a little bit further back. And I guess probably the easiest way would just take a bunch, right? And just tie bunches in instead of tying them one by one. Because again, the least amount of thread wrapping, the better when doing a hollow fly. Yeah, Rev, I'm end of turn 2 on Trench Crusade. Took me like 2 hours. I'm sure it's the sort of game that's going to go super fast. I'm just like filming, doing it all by myself and like looking up the rules. But it's coming out pretty good. So far, I haven't screwed anything up major either, so I can potentially edit this into a game. Who would have thought? But I can already tell you that the Heretic Warwolf Assault Beast is, yeah, pretty good. So we'll see what how the rest of the game goes. I'm going to film that after we get done streaming. Because if I don't, then I'm going to have to remember where everything is, take the board apart, and then reset everything up and redo it. So, and continue filming. I'm just going to do some top and bottom is the way I'm going to, or maybe we should do it on the sides. Yeah, we'll just do it like this. And we'll do some after. Yeah, why not? So we just want our ties to be even top and bottom here. Just kind of spread this around a little bit. I don't want to go. You don't want to go too far back to where you catch that other material, by the way. So let's see here as we let this fold back. I guess it looks pretty even before I wrap. Man, this ostrich, when you fold it back, is like a little wily coyote. A little hard to deal with. I kind of like tying the ostrich on top as opposed to the inside. I feel like it's almost... I feel like it's less beneficial. Like it doesn't really benefit you as much. It's just more ostrich hurl. I feel like if it's tied on the outside of the hollow fly, it's under that spring tension. Yeah, I'd say the hardest thing with a hollow tie is building that thread dam for me perfectly. And I'm talking about, I can tie hollow flies that you can fish all day, but trying to get them to look beautiful, you know what I mean? And get that picture perfect hollow fly look, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm always one side, top or bottom, like off. Yeah, I think it'll be easier with mono, believe it or not. Let me read. I don't think we need that much thread there. I'm like building way too much up. Because we're going to tie the ostrich on as well. You can see here I'm kind of angling my thread a little bit. I may have been slightly off center with the bucktail. But I mean, that's pretty good. It's kind of hard to tell at times. Again, this is probably my least confident like fly. When it comes to like trying to get them perfect, you know what I mean? I would say the bucktail hollow fly and the technique itself is like a golf swing, right? Of fly tying. It's the sort of thing where you're going to be working on it forever. I'm sure some people that just kind of get it sooner than others and get the hang of it, but there's that one guy, he's just chucking it. Congo hair, slinky fibers, streamer fibers, Semper fly, and couple brushes. I mean, it sounds like you got a good amount of stuff. I know what you mean. Congo fibers are kind of, you got a wide variety of stuff. But take the one material and tie a fly with it. Congo fibers, essentially EP sort of fibers. Tie an EP fly. You know what I mean? I don't know what half that stuff is. Slinky fibers, easy. Kinky muddlers. Got that on the channel. Fantastic fly. It's honestly one of my favorite flies recently tying. The brushes, you just take the slinky fibers, you tie like a Sadati Slammer style fly, and then tie a dubbing brush in the front, and there you go, Jungle Slammers. Boom. Yeah, today was Subsurface. The sinking one was last Friday, but thank you, Sandman. Appreciate it. Yeah, today was the Subsurface one. If you guys missed it, after the stream, check it out. New fly fishing for striped bass episode or series, episode 4, Subsurface flies. I'm just kind of loosely tying, and then I can kind of spread it around as well, which is nice. Let's tie a couple on the side, I suppose. A lot of ostrich on this sucker, hey? I'd be charging $20 for this thing. Unless you're getting that, you know, you own a emu and ostrich farm or something. Well, I tell you what, this better get me my first fish, Mike, all right? I've had this ostrich troll for a long time. We probably used about more than I've used in, I don't know how many flies, but this thing's looking pretty sick, though. It's kind of hard to see. I feel like that pink's like almost blown out. It's almost too vibrant. How does it look on stream? Is it that vibrant as it does look in OBS? It's almost like 80s neon. I mean, that's kind of what the color looks like, but it's also, I think my camera setting. What's my f-stop? There you go. We could change it to 5.6. That's a little... What does it actually look like in real life? I'm probably 5. Because what's the other option? 4.5? Yeah, that's a little much. Let's go 5. A final coat. It looks like the ostrich is tied over the whole fly and throughout the fly, I would assume. Kind of like how we're doing it. And then you tie it, the ostrich afterwards at the end. Because I generally do that with the ostrich at the end as well. But looking at it, I think, looking at them, Jin, I would say the ostrich is tied like this, where it's tied on the outside of the hollow ties. Because I'm also thinking if you're tying a bunch of them, like, would you want to be tying the hollow on the inside, this and that? I think you tie the hollow on the ostrich on the outside like this with the bucktail. And we'll do one more collar here. Now, I do have red ostrich. Do I want to do a red head? Let's just keep it all pink. You know what I mean? Let's keep it all pink. This is the colors I've used for years for striped bass. I could be wrong, though, Jen. You could be right. I could be wrong. But I would bet that it is, like, tied throughout the whole fly. If not, at least multiple sections has it. Because it really does look like there's a lot. Unless he's just tying 30 pieces at the front. But something tells me he's tying it throughout. At least that's what I got looking at it. Oh, okay, gotcha. You're saying that you can see the ostrich hurl tied on the outside of the... Oh, okay, I gotcha. I thought you meant like he's tying all the ostrich in one final tie at the end. Oh, okay. Roger. Yep. Let me get the amount here. We'll probably add maybe a little bit of this light pink in here. Yeah, why not? That should be enough. kind of like stack it, if you will, with my hand. I live in Australia, so I scavenge for materials when I'm fishing banks or the golf course. I find some cool feathers. Hell yeah. Yeah, there's definitely, you could probably find some roadkill over there. I don't know what the laws are like, but I'm sure you could find something to use. Yeah, I know it's harder to get good fly fishing equipment in general, let alone fly tying. Australis Fly Fishing, who's over in Australia and is on Twitch, he was explaining how, like, you know, there's obviously a lot less fly fishing brands and equipment and stuff over there. But you also get a lot of stuff from China, I'm assuming, as well nowadays. So you probably have like a good selection of rods, I would hope. Cheap Chinese rods, at least. Whatnot you can use. Stuff like that. I know all the Aussies go to Japan and go drifting, so. Let's go ahead. Okay. Fold it back, put the ostrich on top, bada bing, bada boom. You could put some ostrich on the inside probably here. Again, I like it. I guess you could do it however you like. I kind of like how we're doing it on top, you know. So I feel like this tie is perfectly even top and bottom. It's really hard to tell, but I feel like it is. When we fold it back, let's see. We got to make sure the bucktail is evenly spread. It's kind of loosely wrapped as well. Maybe now we could tighten it a little. Kind of get it where we like it before we start wrapping, I think. Yeah, you got some cool species, though, to go fishing for. You have salmon, which for us here on this side of the world, we're not talking about Atlantic salmon or Pacific or chum. That's what they call their, I guess it's almost like it's like a striped bass without stripes is really the best way to describe it. It's like a mix between, that's really the only way to describe it. It kind of looks like a European sea bass, like what dock fishes for in Ireland. Very similar sort of fish, and you can fish for them like striped bass essentially. We've seen Australis fish them before, and then of course you got stuff like Murray cod and all these things. I mean, there's such a wide variety of fish species. Of course, everything else that's in the ocean, there's just like a million different things. That's down south. Gotcha. All right. Ostrich on top. Yeah, I'm going to keep this ostrich shorter because I don't want it to foul. You could tie it nice and long, but one thing I don't like is when flies foul constantly and you have to constantly fix it over and over and over and over again. I'm starting to adjust my squimpish hollows because they do sometimes foul. Just ever so slightly. Just like some of the material goes to one side. So I might start adjusting my length on hollow ties. Bucktail's obviously a little different because it's so much stiffer. You know, it's less likely to foul in general, but it can still happen as well with your taper. Now, I'll really drive Mike crazy. I'll coat the entire head of the fly in silicone after we get done. Ah, what are you doing? You've ruined it. All right, now we're going to take UV resin, and I'm going to pull this back like this, and we'll make a surf candy out of this. No! I forgot there's this younger gentleman who used to watch us on Twitch. Tied really nice flies too. And I'm like, all right, should we put some peacock curl on here? And he starts all caps. No! You're going to ruin the hollow tie if you put peacock curl on top of it. No! It was funny. I was like, all right, okay, we're not putting peacock curl, I guess. He was very adamant on it. Essentially kind of what we're doing right now, right? Tying on top of the hollow tie, right? It was funny, though. I forgot his username, but man, he tied some really nice flies. Yo, Doc, what's up, man? Closely related to catfish. Well, there you go. Those Aussie salmon. I didn't know that. Interesting. How's your bass fishing going? Have you started doing any bass fishing? When does your season start? So again, I think it's pretty imperative you use like one wrap when you're securing these. So you were saying you had an issue with getting bulk at the head. Now, I wonder if the last tie you actually do the hollow on the inside, the ostrich. Or did it, Jin, you said it looked like the ostrich on the outside. What do you think, Mike, for the last tie? Because I did see the bucktail, but it was kind of hard to tell with some of these colors. Yeah, we'll just tie it on top. It's fine. Well, again, keep them fairly short. I don't want them to foul really that easy. It'll be an interesting fly. I don't think I've ever tied one with this much ostrich curl. Again, we got to keep the length right so it doesn't foul very easily. Live in Western Australia. So you get barramundi. I forgot about barramundi. Man, that's such a cool fish. Mangrove jacks, but also get pelagics like sailfish, tuna, marlin. Oh, you're living in the... Oof. You're living in the good spot, if you ask me. Screw down south. Though it's probably hotter up north, right? Yeah. That's why you get all those pelagics. Very cool. So you're telling us you go sail fishing on the fly, of course? Obviously. From a kayak or something, standing up. Oh my God. Old Town Predator. Did I just pull that feather off? No. Did I pull another one? Was that from when I picked one up? Oh, I know the Djibouti show's streaming later. I'm excited to see if they did. I was watching them play this game, and it was using an iPhone to use face recognition. And he was, if you don't know, like their Djibouti show, they're fantastic. I talk about them a lot, but Djibouti dubs, they used to have dubs from years ago, from like infomercials, stuff you used to watch in like high school. But they were doing something where he was acting like Michael Jackson in like the Sims game. It was called Izio or something like that. But it had facial recognition and his face was moving in the game. And it was like, I've never seen anything like that in a video game. It was like some next age sort of technology. I was like, oh my God. It was horrifying too, because he was playing as Michael Jackson, so his face was crazy. But I gotta say, I had to mention it. I've never seen anything like that sort of technology in a video game, let alone anything. Like, it doesn't even have to be a video game that you could use that for, but that was wild that you could get that NPC's face to move when you were talking like that and stuff, the eyes, everything. It was really cool. So I think they may be doing that later tonight. I'm hoping when I get done. Oh, I gotta finish playing Trench Crusade. I have to watch the stream afterwards then if there are. All right. A little bit more ostrich roll here, and I think we're done. The whole idea is we kind of want it spread evenly all over the place. Tie one more right here. All right, well, that's my ostrich hurl allowance for the month. Yeah, I wonder if there's like one final hollow tie in general or what, but I think you just tie the ostrich afterwards. You can also burn this hook point if we need to. Clean it up a little bit. I feel like we got some bulk at the head. What do you think? You tell me, Mike. This is the first time I've tied this fly. How did we make out? I just looked at a photo and boom. I'm not going to worry about eyes, really. I mean, you could put like 3D eyes and like, but you'd have to glue it. To be honest with you, I don't put eyes on a lot of my flies. If I had jungle cock or something, I would. Man, the color's crazy like that. Jimmy Crack Corn. 18 people watching, only 3 thumbs up. Hit that thumb bell. That stuff actually does make a big difference for live streams, believe it or not. The liking the stream. I think if you get over 100 likes during your stream, YouTube like starts pumping it out to random people. But you guys do what you want. But thank you, Jimmy Crackcorn. How you doing? So you take this fly, you just chuck it off the side of a boat and catch a tuna. Like, look at this damn thing. I mean, he's gonna look sick, though. Yeah, I think that's how he does it, right? And you just put some eyes on there. Maybe a slightly better taper on his and whatnot. Obviously. Again, I'm not a big bucktail hollow guy. It's not like my main thing. A lot of these guys, that's like one of the main things they do is they tie these big hollow flies, beast flies, and that's all they tie, you know what I mean? I pretty much just tie these for myself a lot of times. I've been chasing sea trout all winter, lost 2 decent fish as they like to do acrobatics when hooked. Oh, man. Haven't hooked into a bass yet? Gotcha. But you got sea trout. That's awesome. That's awesome. You got to post some photos. Looks great without the eyes. Yeah, you know, I don't fish eyes a lot of times in general. We'll put some head cement on there. You can put tab eyes, right? But this is what I would call an attractor fly. This is not a match the hatch, right? I mean, I guess theoretically the right-sized juvenile bunker, not even peanut bunker, or something like that. Or like, I guess a mullet maybe, right? But this is what I would call an attractor fly. All white or pink or black probably, right? Or bright colors. A ton of material with a lot of movement. And it also pushes a bunch of water so that it picks up fish pick up on it on a lateral line. Yeah, just from looking the way his ties, I'm pretty certain he ties the ostrich on top. I'm pretty certain that's how he does it. Well, Mike, you better be here, dude. We tied so much damn ostrich roll. I want your final opinion. How's the bulk on the head? You better not have dipped out on me after using 80 pieces of ostrich roll on this fly. Ever tie jig heads for spinning? Yeah, of course, Adam. How's it going? I don't do it very often now, but back in the day when I still spin fished, I used to tie a lot of fluke jigs. And I would tie pretty much like marabou jigs for fluke with tons of flash, bucktail. I had rattles in there. And people would come up and they would see me like slamming fluke in particular. And like I had all these dudes that didn't even speak English. and they were coming up and buying. They'd be like, I'd be like, all right, come back tomorrow, and I would just take their old jig heads and tie like marabou on there and sell them. So I used to do it a lot, and I also used to tie flies like this on jigs. So I've tied beast flies on jigs before. That's something we should do in the future. Or tying like hollow flies on jigs. So you take what's the name of it? Kalins. Kalins is the jig heads I always liked. But ideally one without a barb, right? And on the lead section, it has a lead section that's kind of a nice platform to tie your thread on. That's where you tie your jig, like your bucktail jig. I'll tie a fly on it, right? Or on the hook shank itself, I'll go all the way back to the bend of the hook, and I'll tie my material and work my way up, as opposed to an all-white bucktail. That being said, the people that are out there catching 90% of the fish in the surf or this or that, yada, 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 what are they catching them on? They're catching them on the same thing they've been using for 100 years, an all-white bucktail jig, 1 to 3 ounce with a red thread head. Or red lips, right? Or something. The classic sort of bucktail jig. Dad Life is raiding with 39 people. Give it up. Round of applause. Redneck Loving Life. How you doing, man? Appreciate you tuning in, coming on through with the raid, I'm assuming. Welcome, everybody. Give it up for Dad Life. Let me see if we can get a shout out going here. I think I remember. It's !SO Dad Life. Let's see. Let's see if I remember it. Hey, there we go. I remember how to Twitch. But thank you for the raid. And by the way, for everybody on YouTube, raids are like you can send your stream over to another stream. So if you're wondering, but thank you for the raid with 39 people. How's everybody doing? Welcome on in. How was Dad Life stream? Was he fishing or something like that? He was doing some IRL stuff. Adam on YouTube. I don't know. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know there were rattles even. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's fly tying rattles. A lot of them are glass. So they break very easily. So they're not very good. But the plastic ones aren't the worst, like the jig ones. But I'm going to be honest with you, every time I've used a rattle, it just breaks on a fly after getting destroyed. And I just cut it off, and like I don't think it makes that big of a difference. A lot of what really makes a difference in flies is the shape, the profile, and the action. Really, like you want like a fly like this. The reason why ostrich hurl is so good is because it has so much action to it that even when we're not stripping the fly, this thing's like going crazy in the water and going all over the place. So a fish, like you'll strip it and it'll just be undulating in the current, and a fish will just come up and grab it. Like we're really trying to, like, presentation's one of the most important things. So like having a fly has a ton of action is really important. Marabou was good for fluke. I'm planning on targeting them this year. Yep, nice. You got to go now. Thanks for the help. I'll get on making them jungle slammers. Yeah, we got a video for the jungle slammer I got to record. That might be Sunday. I'm not certain. But yeah, the kinky muddler video we have on YouTube, check it out. And just, adjust the materials as you see fit for what you got. What do you mean not catching? I caught one. I'm waiting for stripers. Nice, Dad Life. Love to hear it. What were you fishing for? And you don't got to get specific, but where are you located at? Thank you for the raid again. Appreciate it. Everyone be sure to go on Twitch, go check out Dad Life. And anyone on YouTube, if you watch Twitch, go check out Dad Life. Yo, Point Blank, what's up? How you doing? What's going on, brother? How's your fishing going? Freshwater. Very nice. I'm going freshwater fishing on Sunday with Mr. Mark Sedati. He wants to go for largemouth. If we don't catch anything this time, then I'm I'm focusing on stripers. We've been going for these damn largemouth. Last 2 times we got I got like completely skunked on the fly rod and broke rods both times, I think. Rhode Island, very nice. The state with the most amount of shoreline. I believe that's the thing. That's like a fun fact about Rhode Island. It has the most amount of shoreline out of any other state. And it's one of the smallest states. But it's because it has so many estuaries, rivers, and bays, and creeks, and ocean. Yeah, I'm located in Long Island, so we're not too far away. Which you should go check out Saltwater Edge if you ever need some fly tying stuff out there. Maybe you're familiar. But very cool. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm following you. Let me give you a follow. I don't watch a lot of Twitch nowadays. There we go. Boom. All right. Very nice. Well, damn it. All right. First off, I need a... Nope. Wrong sound. I need a boo. Mike on YouTube, where are you, bud? All right. I want a final report card on how I did compared to Rhodey on the flies ostrich hollow. Comes in here, convinces me to tie with half my ostrich hurl, and then goes and makes nachos. What's up with that? That's probably doing something important. If you end up seeing this later, put it in the comments, okay? That being said, I do need to grab another white claw, and we're going to tie one more fly here. So, but don't worry, it's probably going to take another hour or so. Never to be seen again. Damn you, Mike! But when we get back, I guess we'll figure out what else to tie next. I gotta say, this is pretty nice. I like this. I almost feel like for the last tie, you do the ostrich on the inside. But I don't know. We'll have to fish it. I guarantee if you put this in the swim tank, dude, this thing would look sick. Telling you. I'll film. How about this? I'll film it when I go down fishing tomorrow, probably, because of course I'm gonna go fishing tomorrow, and I'll get a little footage. I'll put it in the Discord or something. You know. I don't know any fly people. I haven't ventured into fly fishing. You definitely should get into fly fishing because you're in Rhode Island. It's like one of the best states for fly fishing for striped bass. All you need is a raised fly, floating line, and a 9-foot rod, 8-weight, and just start swinging, baby. All right? But you'd be surprised. I bet you there's some local fly fishermen. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, and when we get back, we'll tie another fly. I'm just going to go grab a drink and stretch my back a little bit. If you've been sitting down for the past hour, look, every hour and a half, I like to get up, stretch. I got a really messed up back. So it's a good idea. It's just, be fluid every once in a while. Stretch it out. So I'm just going to go take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute or two, and then we'll tie another fly. So think about if you guys have anything you want to see in particular that's not too crazy that utilizes bucktail. I'm thinking either we do some sort of hollow thing after this, or like I was thinking bulkhead, or just a standard bucktail deceiver as well. I was not thinking on using that much ostrich roll, but I gotta say, I think this came out pretty good. I like it. Talk about a good squid fly. Just put some eyes off the back, right? But all right, we're gonna take a quick little break. Thank you again, Dad Life. I appreciate that for the thank you for the raid, and everyone be sure to check them out. All right, I made sure to drop a follow as well. So we're gonna play our Albie highlight. This is from like 4 or 5 years ago when I actually used to catch a lot of fish. All right, so we'll be back here in a sec. Bulkhead? Yeah, I think we'll do a bulkhead. tight, all right? Yeah, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Aiden. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the bow.
Yeah, get on the bow. All right, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Oh, let's go!
Come here, hold next to Albie. Good job.
That's sick.
All right. Nice.
Let's go! Woo! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee!
Looking down the barrel of a 12-gauge little tuny, bro. On the Albie door, too. Oh my God, dude! What the fuck? Woohoo! Oh my God! Yep. Oh my God! Turn the boat so I can cast. Oh God, I love that part. I love that part every single time, where the Albies start going nuts in front of my buddy Jeff. It gets me going every time seeing that. Oh, Sandman in the Twitch chat, what's up? All right. Let me hold on my headset. There we go. one last look at this sucker. And it looks pretty good. Looking pretty good. We'll see. We'll see how it fishes. It's a lot of ostrich roll. Okay, so I'm going to tie a bulkhead. Now, I've been tying a lot of bright colors. We're going to tie nighttime. We're going blurple. Okay? Because sometimes, or most of the time, when really the best fishing is, and when the biggest fish kind of come out to play is at night. So I need to start doing more nighttime fishing in general. So that's something I'm trying to do. And we're going to tie a bulkhead. And I got some really nice purple bucktail. And okay. Like, look, this is what we're dealing with here, chat, with black. They always give you the worst tails in black. I don't know why. They think they can, like, I don't know if they dye it a super dark color or something, but you always just find the worst quality bucktail feathers that are dyed black. It could be something to do. I really don't know why, but this is like the best one I could find. It's got some like fairly long hairs. So we're going to be mixing the black and purple when we get to the blurple. Yeah, even this, I mean, like, it's a nice tail for, like, tying commercially. It's, like, pretty big, but it's not even that long. So, again, is what it is. We might, this is maybe where, I don't think I really have the colors for it, I guess. Do we dare mix some Steve Farrar fiber with our bulkhead in the rear for length? Half slammer-ish with no keel. And now, the reason why I'm tying a bulkhead is where I fish a lot. It's fairly shallow. I'm fishing from shore because my trim unit's broken. If my trim unit wasn't broken, we'd be fishing in that deep, deep all the time. All right. Beast Hunter, thank you for the follow. Or Best Hunter. Best Hunter ever. What are we hunting with? But, oh yeah, you know what? Should we use mono for this? Let's use mono for this, because we are kind of hollow tying-esque to a certain degree. But I want a fly that's going to sit higher in the water column. That's why the bulkhead's really nice. You'll see in our most recent video. If you haven't watched the Subsurface Flies video on YouTube, then go check it out after the stream. But I filmed the bulkhead, and you can see it, like, first off, beautiful action. But the nice thing about the spun head is that, because essentially it's kind of like a spun head, pseudo spun head. It essentially, what do you call it? Rides higher in the water column. So what's the consensus? Sir Jin actually called Rhodey on the fly. How is that ostrich fly tied? Well, this is what it came out looking like. We just tied it on top pretty much the whole way. I think it looks pretty good. You talk to the guy that we checked out that Instagram post, Rhodey on the fly. How's it tied? See, we got the inside scoop. This is why you check out this channel, you know what I mean? Sandman coming in with the 3 months at the tier 1. Give it up. A round of applause on Twitch. Thank you so much for the support, my friend. Appreciate it. Be sure to check out Sandman on Sandman Fly Fishing on YouTube. He's been tying some fly tying tutorials, which I've been watching. They've been good. Saw you got a squid one coming out, Nantucket squid or something. Clap. Yeah, I don't even think I have better TTV emotes, but a clap's a clap. All right. So we are going to start off with some bucktail. Excuse me, some bucktail. Tied 360. And we'll see. Let's see. I don't want to take too long to time this. I need to film 5 more rounds of Trench Crusade after this. So, a tabletop game. And I have my Iron Sultanate against the Heretic Legion. playing solo. So I gotta wrap that up, and that's for my second YouTube channel, which I have not done any videos for a while. So I think what Sunday video is going to be potentially. I don't have an idea. I kind of want it to be something not too crazy, like Sunday, Monday. I try to go not 30-minute lawn videos, even though last week or whatever I did. I don't know what to tie, so I got to figure out what I'm going to tie. I have some stuff, written down, a ton of different flies, but if you guys have any not 30-minute lawn flies you want to see tied, let me know. I got to figure out what I'm doing for Sunday and Monday. And then next Friday, which I need to start working on this, is going to be topwater flies. I have a bunch of this pink ostrich left over. We're going to use this because I don't want to waste it. Also, yeah, have not talked to him yet. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Never mind. This is like a Tim and Eric or like a Tim and Greg on cinema skit. This is like where I flip out. I'm like, damn it. You made me look like an idiot. Yeah, I think that's how you tie it. We'll have to get the inside scoop one day. We'll get it. You can report back. Report back to us, Jin. Now this is a nighttime fly. Oh, we got some ostrich. Yeah, I got purple ostrich. I didn't want to stand up and get it, but I'm going to. We got it. We're going all the way. When in Rome. Now, this is an interesting thing when it comes to black and purple flies. Do you guys put flash on your nighttime flies? I don't really think you really need it. I always put like a couple pieces of like dark Flashaboo, but I'm not even going to do it. I'm curious. I don't know if flash is, you have moonlight, right? Stuff like that, but I think for nighttime flies, I don't know if it's that necessary, but I'm curious what you folks do for your nighttime flies. Do you put flash on there or not? That is the question. So let me cut off some nice lawn ostrich here. I'd show you, but this thing is so damn long. Like, these are the sort of ostrich hurl that you get for like making a $20,000 hat for Balenciaga for Fashion Week. These ostrich hurl quills. My buddy used to live in Brooklyn, and he went into the fashion area in Manhattan during like Fashion Week and bought these ostrich hurl. Or he was walking by and he saw like a bunch of ostrich hurl sitting there, and these are like the biggest ostrich hurl we've ever seen. They were like, I don't even know, they were like $20 a piece or something ridiculous, but you can see they're quite long, and like the size of this quill is crazy. You can see how big these things are. Never effectively fly fished at night, too afraid to hook in the eye. Man, that is so crazy. Sergio Diaz said that to me. He's like, what do you do for glasses? I'm like, what do you mean glasses? He's like, aren't you afraid to hook yourself in the eye? I'm like, no. I feel like, so here's the thing. I think over time you get comfortable with fly casting. You know what I mean? Turning your rod outwards so that, let's say your rod, you hold it like this, the reel's facing down. I'm a lefty, right? Turning my hand, I guess you could say, or turning my wrist outwards. The spine of the rod is now facing this way. So the fly line's going to go that way away from me. And like today I was fishing. If I think that the wind is going to smack me, I was fishing with like this jiggy, And I was like, dude, I am not smacking myself in the back with this damn jiggy. And I went to go, I back casted, I went to forward cast, and the wind's coming from my casting arm. I just stopped. So I just started back casting instead. So being able to back cast is really important. And also just turning your head at times, too. If you're really afraid that you're going to hook yourself in the face, wear a hood and you could turn your head. But, like, I think when you fly fish enough, you can get comfortable to where you're not going to hook yourself in the eye. Unless the, like, wind blows drastically at the wrong time and this and that. And even then, as that's happening, you need to have the reflexes to, like, duck your head down. You know, if you know you're about to get smacked in the head with a fly. Now, I'm curious, do people in chat, do you guys worry about that? Because I'd never heard anyone talk about that until Sergio was like, I don't fish at night, so I don't hit myself in the face or hit myself in the eye. And I'm not trying to call you out. That's a very valid concern, Rabid Penguin, is not hooking yourself in the eye at night. But I think it has to come down to do with how comfortable you are fly casting in terms of, like, whether you think you're actually going to hit yourself or not. Now, I don't even want to say it. Do I have enough wood to knock on? Hold on. But I've never hooked myself. So I've never gotten a hook to the point to where it goes down to a barb through my skin, right? Let me knock on some more. Okay. That's like 4. I think 2 out of the 4 knocks is real wood. But I've never actually, like, physically, and it has to do with a lot about being able to, like, know when to back cast, know how to turn the rod out. I learned that turn your rod outwards from Lefty Kreh from reading a book. And I was like, I kept smacking myself with clousers in the back. If you ever get hit in the back of the head with a clouser when it's blowing 50 miles an hour, like, you can legitimately cause, like, permanent damage to yourself fishing weighted flies. A lot of people don't fish weighted flies, including me. Like, I don't fish a lot of clousers and stuff. I fish some jiggies, but even then I don't fish them a lot when they're windy because I'm really afraid of either breaking my rod is my biggest fear or hitting myself in the back of the head, right? But, yeah, I'm curious how many people worry about that. June to October, only night fishing for me? Yeah. So I grew up surf fishing, and you pretty much only night fish, right? You're fishing at night all fall, and it was just the same thing with the fly rod. I just had to learn. I didn't have YouTube videos. I didn't even see another fly fisherman for the first 2-3 years until I met these guys, and they helped me catch my first striper. But it was just like trial and error of learning how to cast flies, and how literally, like, if you want to catch fish with a fly rod, you can't only fish when it's nice out. You have to fish every day, including the wind that you can fish, and you're going to have to fish in 50-mile-per-hour wind. You're going to have to learn how to deal with it. Because if you leave your fly rod in the truck, the best days will be the day that you leave it home and it's blowing like 40 miles an hour, but the fish are right up against the rocks and they're like 50-pounders. You know what I mean? With no evidence to back this up, Rev says, again, no evidence of fly fishing, but I would imagine flash would be even more important at night. Yeah, but I think the whole idea behind flash a lot of times is the light is reflecting in the water off of the flash. And at night, you still have light. There's ambient light, there's moonlight. But I think the fish a lot of times, like color, I don't think matters as much at night when it comes to, I think it's supposed to be darker colors because the fish will see the fly above them, right, Rev? Their eyes are positioned in a way straight past that they look above them generally a lot of times. So what they do is they hunt from below. That's kind of how their camouflage is set up. And what happens is at night, they see the fly from underneath in the profile against the backlit of like the starlight and the moonlight. So the fly is darker than the moonlight so they could see it. So I don't know if flash at night, like I don't know if there's enough ambient light and reflection of light for the flash to actually then reflect and get that flash effect. That's what I'm considering. I've worried on some tough winds. Oh, yeah, and if it's blowing that hard, I mean, you got to either backcast Or you got to, like, just pack it up, go somewhere else or something at times, right? That's just how it is. So we're not doing a bulkhead tie on the first one. We do a regular bucktail deceiver tie. This is where I'm considering, and I think this is where we might do some V-ties of Steve Farrar fiber, because I don't necessarily have bucktail that's long enough to get the taper that I want. I guess I potentially have some black bucktail. Yeah, we'll keep it all bucktail. We'll mix some black, because I have some black that's pretty long. Let me cut some off here. Like this side, look at this. Pathetic. What the hell kind of bucktail side is this? There's like nothing there. It looks like there's hair, but there's not. It's an illusion. It's all trash that you can't use. But it was the best I could find out of the black, so. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I was talking to my buddy Tyler about this. He thinks it has something to do with the dye or something. Like the dye is super harsh on the material. I think they're just taking the worst bucktails and dyeing them black. That's my conspiratorial decree that I'm putting out there. Is that's their policy? Is they're like, we're just going to take the worst ones and we'll dye them the darkest color. Have you noticed, like, most of the time the worst quality material you get is like the all black, like feathers or something, or bucktail? I feel like that's a thing, right? I feel like that's a trend I've noticed over like 20 something years, but I could be wrong. We're just going to move forward slightly. And I think the bulkhead is, I think he just does like 3 or 4 ties. It's a little bit of a larger hook, but we'll try and keep it similar. Yeah, it's so hard to prove is flash effective at night or not, because you could take a fly and fish it with flash versus one without. And it's very hard to just say, oh, well, look, I caught more fish on this one. There's so many factors, unless you're standing in the exact place, exact same time, exact winds. You would need to fish 2 flies at once, essentially, I feel like. And even then, one is lower in the water column or higher or in front, or, you know, it's so hard to say, right? Yeah, this bucktail's not really long, but, you know, is what it is. Doe tail? Yeah, I guess it could be. I mean, you know what I've found? It's just doe or buck. It doesn't really matter. It's these tails from deer that are probably like raised in farms or something. Because whether you shoot a doe or whether you shoot a buck, if you shoot a wild deer, they're just going to have every like local wild deer tail I've ever seen has just been phenomenal. That's just how it is. It's always the farm raised deer. We can get some extra black here. Yeah, that's not terrible, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if I like the mono for like bulkheads. You can see I'm used to the 2 tendon here. I just was testing my my strength out. Wire in some light strips. Oh, light strips. Now that's heretical. All right, that is heresy in the world of fly fishing. We're like putting LED lights on the flies, Rev. Come on. This isn't a Lehman Rust tank with like a RC motor in it or something, okay? Next thing you know, we'll be taking mops and tying mops onto flies. Cutting pieces of mops off and putting them on flies. What is this? You know what I mean? Little mop fly joke. Black needs some of the highest temperature, so it kills the hair. There you go. That could be it for the dyeing process. Maybe my buddy Tyler's right. Damn. Because I think he was trying to dye some material himself, and he went to... Again, New York City has everything if you really want it. So he found, like, a dye manufacturer and got this, like, crazy black dye, like the darkest one he could find. He was, like, custom dyeing feathers and stuff. Man. Hope Tyler's doing good. Helped me catch my first Albie on a pontoon boat. What a legend. What a legend. Pontoon Albies. Gotta love it. Isn't the history of the gotcha fly just the originator just uses pieces of his hotel carpet? Oh, probably. You know, the merkin fly is like, what's it called? The sewing material, like a yarn or thread. But yeah, the mop fly is just a joke. It's what do you call it? The mop fly and the squirmy wormy and using indicators. Because I've been streaming for now, I don't know how many years. It's been like going on 6-7 years. We've had running jokes, and like we used to have an emote of a hammer hitting a bobber. Called it indicator smash. And anytime someone was like, "Oh, I love indicator fish," and I'm like, "We gotta ban them, get them out." And then what else? The squirmy wormy as well. My divine hatred for the squirmy wormy, and it's a front against fly tying. And then of course the mop fly as well. You know what I mean? It's prime joke material. And a lot of it was based off of the account called FFBI, the Fly Fishing Bureau of Investigations, which I don't even know is still around. Probably got like removed for harassment because people are so soft nowadays. But they were pretty much just making fun of the whole fly fishing community for the stuff that probably should be made fun of. You know what I mean? Vape smoke coming out of Subarus, fishing on reds, all the good stuff. And it's all light, you know, it's all in good fun, but some people got all butthurt about it. Because I haven't seen any of their stuff for a while. I have one of their stickers. I bought a couple of their stickers because I loved it so much. The Fly Fishing Bureau of Investigation. And they were just like memeing on people, you know. But it was funny because a lot of these like really big fly fishing influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers, you know, that probably are like, "Oh, did you know I'm verified on Twitter?" or something, back before you could buy it, right? Those sort of people were getting like really upset because this random account, you didn't know who it was either, was like, you know, making memes of these people like fishing on, you know, spawning beds and all this stuff, and they were getting all these huge social media accounts. It was so funny. I loved it. It felt like very grassroots, calling out the worst of fly fishing at times. Euro nymphing ain't bad. What's Euro nymphing's like high sticking, right? Or like the visible leaders. I guess there's probably a certain pretentiousness to it. I don't know. I think it was I was hoping one day they would make fun of me, but I just wasn't popular, or like I didn't make anything dumb enough. I made a bunch of dumb fly fishing content. I was hoping I'd really get featured on FFBI. It was kind of like a goal of mine, you know what I mean? But alas, it never happened. Made rap videos, wore ski masks, all sorts of stuff. It would have been an honor. All right. So I'm actually going to do a little bucktail blending. So we're doing our bulkhead tie here. We've got to leave the ends nice and long. We just still want material pretty long though, right? Because we're still trying to taper it down, but that's right. It doesn't need to be super crazy. And I'm pretty much just going to tie this all in one shot. So I need to make sure I have enough bucktail for top, you know, for just the whole thing, because I'm just going to spread it around. It's nice tying these in like two tones or whatever, where you tie the white in the back or the purple in the back and then the black in the front, as opposed to having to like tie the colors in separately, because then you can kind of just tie it in one shot and spread it around, right? Oh, damn it. I'm trying to think of another one. But yes, I've seen mine gobbling these nuts. All right. Don't think you can get me. I've watched Sequisha many times. All right. You're just lucky I didn't have one back that you didn't know that I could have got you. All right, camel eggs? There's another one out there. There's a ton of them. You know what I mean? I've been streaming too long to get, I don't even remember it. Yeah, mine gobbling these nuts. All right, I've been streaming too long to get these nuts. Unless there's like a new one comes out that I don't know about. Then maybe you have a chance. You fool. Good try, though. I really expected better of you, though. I'm not that old. I'm only 34. You think I don't know Mind Goblin? I've been streaming for like however long. Of course, I'm familiar in the ways of the Mind Goblin. Where's the Striper video? Can we get an exclamation mark YouTube, I think? I love the guy who exchanges text with a brown trout. You call that a cast? On Instagram and Facebook. Oh, this guy's like role-playing as a brown trout in text messages? Now that's a D&D character. A brown trout that, it's like your brown trout familiar that text messages you, and you're a fly fisherman. And you banter with him the whole time, and he can, like, cast spells. Or maybe if there's water, he can, at times, actually do stuff, but... yeah. Interesting. I'll tie a little bit more on here. Using loose wraps here. Loose wraps. Is that enough? Looks pretty good. Now, what you can do is you can kind of... because we actually are far enough up, we're only probably going to get a couple ties. There you go. If you click that link, that'll take you to the YouTube channel, which has the link for the new... actually, I'll just put it in the chat. How about that? I have to go to YouTube, though, so give me a sec. But thank you for doing that, Jin. That also helps. I'll put it in Restream for any of you folks. I'm sure... oh, my God. They are doing Michael Jackson Simulator, Djibouti show. Oh, God. All right. I'm going to have to watch it after I get done recording Trench Crusade later, but... so let me go to my account, and I'll just post it real quick. And insulting the fisherman? Oh, yeah, I figured that when you said you call that a cast. I figured there was some sort of insulting from the trout going on. Of course, your brown trout familiar has to be condescending the whole time. That's how the character is laid out. All right, there we go. That's the new YouTube video. Bada bing, bada boom. But the good thing is that guy, whenever he needs, at some point, somebody's going to shoot a fireball at him or something, Southern Fly Guy, and out of the water, the trout's going to jump out and deflect it with a nat 20. So it's worth the rough relationship, I guess we could call it, but that's how that works, by the way. Life. God, that'd be so cool. You had a brown trout familiar that was just an asshole. But at the time, like, your house was burning down, he would show up, save the day. Don't ask how, but... oh, he would summon a tidal wave. See, this is why the difference between a good D&D player and a great one, you got to think on the fly. How is your brown trout familiar going to stop your house from being burned down? Instantaneously, you got to come up with it. Easy. He just summons the use of water magics and creates a tidal wave and rides the tidal wave. You see him riding in, and he's like surfing the wave, like, yoo-hoo! You know what I mean? Like doing some cool, like, sort of acrobatics or something. You got to be quick on the draw. Where's Bujika? We got D&D talk. He's not even here. Unbelievable. He's going to be every Saturday sending me text messages of his D&D group. Hey, Paul Bridgers. Yes, I caught you live. Thank God. Do you have Instagram? Because if so, that would be easier. If not, then you need to go back and check. I message you. I could do it again, but it's lifliesmike@gmail. I need you to message me or on Instagram and send me a shipping address because you won the giveaway video for last Friday. I was waiting for you to tune in live because I've been responding to your messages because you're so nice that you post a comment on almost every video, and I've been like, hey, you won the fly, but I don't think you've been seeing it, so I'm glad you came in live. I got to catch you. All right, we don't have a lot of room here, by the way. Let me see if I can, like, finagle this back. Oh, yeah, we can. All right. Change the plans. It's like we're deer hair spinning. Let me unwrap this and rewrap it. I was saying we didn't have a lot of room here, but I forgot I was doing that. I was kind of, like, stacking the hair slightly when we were tying this fly. What fly did he win? What fly was that? Oh, the peanut bunker bucktail deceiver. Yeah. Nice one as well. That one has a lot of ostrich oil in it. Somebody was like, damn, Mr. Moneybags over here using all the ostrich oil. Imagine that guy saw the fly we just tied before this. Yeah. All right, sounds good, Paul. Like I said, either on Instagram or Discord. We have our Discord, but you may not have those. lifliesmike@gmail, just my name at Gmail, so you can email me. Need a shipping address. I'm glad you came in. We caught you. All right. I think we have enough room to do now a couple. Like, I want to get 3 ties of bulkhead generally. I am going to be certain to tie all of the material on at once here. Also, I just realized, like, we use some softer hair. We got to be using stiffer hair. I mean, we did use that black bucktail, which is pretty stiff, but you want to use, like, the nasty, stiff sort of bucktail that you're generally like, I don't know if this purple tail is actually the best for that, so I'm going to grab the crinkliest, stiffest hair I can. We'll take some black, we'll blend it. Luckily, this black bucktail is extremely stiff. Almost unusable for hollow, 100% unusable for hollow ties. Almost unusable for regular fly tying. It just flares out so much. But for something like this, that's kind of what we're looking for. It's a mix between bucktail and deer hair, virtually, at this point. So, my predictions on the Trench Crusade game. I don't know what's going to happen. Right now, there's 2 dead Iron Sultanate models, but the leader of the heretics are dead. And the Warwolf is not looking too good. I think the Iron Sultanate and the Janissaries might pull through, but we're going to see. I'm going to film that when we get done with this fly here. That's from my Mike Rolls Dice channel, which I think I might abandon my Savage Worlds campaign. It's just too much time. I have like literally 700 gigabytes of footage for the next 7 to 8 episodes for a TTRPG campaign I did solo. It's a game called Savage Worlds for my second channel. It's taking up so much space of my hard drive that I need for fly time videos. I'm so tempted just to get rid of it, but I'm like, ugh. I just don't think I don't think anybody's gonna watch it, to be honest with you. All right, so again, we want that material off the front like this. Looks like we're gonna have enough room here for 2 ties. We'll go very light on our thread wrapping. TTRPG? Oh, yeah. So I've ran a Wrath and Glory Warhammer campaign. That was the first that was the first game system I ran. I've played in, I think, oh my god, how many now? Let's see, my buddy Eric's game. Is it only 2 or 3? I think it was 3 D&D campaigns I've played in. I've DM'd 2, which was Wrath and Glory, and then I've been DMing Savage Worlds. So we did like a year-long or half a year-long pirate campaign in Savage Worlds, which I really like Savage Worlds. I bought all the books for that. I'm kind of like, everybody else DMs D&D. I'm like, all right, we got to play something other than a Wizards of the Coast product, all right? But, no. Oh, my heart. The pain. Exclamation mark tink. Damn it. I should have left it. It's like the worst place to break your thread. But yeah. So you got me all excited about TTRPGs. Broke my thread. Unbelievable. But yeah, what we really do a lot now is we don't even really play D&D or anything like that. We're just addicted to like wargaming. So we're super deep in Warhammer. I have a Blood Angels army. I have we're just going to redo this, by the way, because it's easier. I have Blood Angels, Tyranids, Chaos Space Marines, Emperor's Children, and then we play like one-page rules. I'm just getting into Trench Crusade, which is imagine the Crusades in 1099, and some Templars open up the gates of hell. So there's demons, and it's like 1914, and there's been 1,000 years of fighting demons, and the Crusade has still been going on. It's such a cool universe. It's like the lore is so cool. But so I'm like filming that right now for our second channel, my table. I'll show you guys at the end of the stream. I'll turn my camera around or something. I'll show you the table. But I'm like literally in the middle of a Trench Crusade, my first Trench Crusade game right now. I was like, well, I gotta let the camera cool off because it's about time to stream. Vampire, Mage, okay, my buddy was trying to get me to play Mage. Vampire Masquerade, I definitely know. I'm not familiar with Werewolf, but nice. I like it already. There's nothing wrong with D&D. It's just everybody loves D&D, only wants to play D&D. All they talk about is D&D. It's like nice to like not only play D&D. You know what I mean? Sorry, by the way, if there's anybody that doesn't care about this stuff, I'm sorry if we're boring you, but I do have hobbies outside of fishing, believe it or not. I know it's a revelation. How dare you? I'm going to tie a little bit more on the side here. Corporation. Oh, it's like Blade Runner. Yeah. I watched Me, Myself, and Die do the Blade Runner game. It seemed interesting. Very, like, the cyberpunk. A lot of, like, role-playing, which is cool. That's why I like Savage Worlds, even though there's a lot of combat, and I always run a ton of combat. It's very free-form, not a crazy amount of rules. I guess there kind of is. But I like games with some crunch, but not too much, so I can let the players just do whatever the hell they want. I like playing this whole thing out, and my group of players, what do they want to do? I'm like, there's going to be a fight. There's a dude who shoots fireballs. They're like, we want to do a circus. I'm like, all right, cool. Do you guys want to have like some sort of battle against them in this? No, we just want to do a circus stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. I guess everything. I forgot. Yeah, of course you guys just want to do like a circus or something. Yeah. So games that you can like on the fly change, and that's just being a good DM. That's any game, but I don't want to have to like memorize a bunch of stats. I like just like being like, all right, cool, yeah, you roll, go for it. All right, so I think we got room for one more here. You can see we're essentially folding this back and then building that thread in front of it, right? Kind of like a thread dam. So now what we're going to do is get one more tie on there, let's go heavy on the black. Because, A, this is some nice stiff material, but also we'll get that black head on there with the purple sort of rear section, right? And then we'll wet it and trim it, see how it came out. Yeah, I think you got to use enough material on bulkheads. This is one where you don't want to go too sparse, because then you just won't have a bulkhead. I guess it matters. I mean, it depends, but emergency battles where your players are like, hey, we decided we are going on a side quest. Let me pull out my generic NPCs for you. Yeah, my buddy Rev, who's here, he's always got some interesting NPCs. Like ones that are like, at times, like, God, we got to get rid of this guy. We got to get rid of this guy immediately. Mine are generally pretty like, okay, yeah, we'll do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. They're usually like, oh yeah, sure, we'll help you do all the boring stuff. Instead of being like a roadblock, which is also an effective way of using NPCs, like allies, you know, to like cause essentially chaos. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We haven't had any motivation to run any games or anything. We've been so into war gaming, but I'm so busy with fly tying orders. YouTube, my main YouTube channel that I'm streaming on right now, you know, is like literally a full-time job now at this point, and all the other stuff. So it's rough to like, you know, all right, well, we're gonna meet together every week now, especially with fishing season coming up. You know what I mean? Because we already have like 1 day a week to play Warhammer generally, or like whatever sort of shenanigans, or do some hobbying, you know, paint some models, build some terrain. And we're lucky we get 1 day a week out of that, so, because none of us have kids. What hook are we using, Sandman? We're using a Arex Blue Water 4-rod. Big boy. Classic Cobalt submarine. There you go. Who needs kobolds in a trench coat when you can have them in a submarine? I will say D&D is a lot of fun. Like the lore and the world that they've built and all that, right? It is a lot of fun. I would say it was kind of overwhelming, though. The first like campaign, I had almost no idea what was going on. I played a human fighter. I like had some idea, but I like everybody talking about all of their abilities or like all these things and the traits. I literally had no idea what was going on half the time. Later on you get it, but the wizard character's like, I'm doing my cantrips. I'm going to take a bone and I'm going to look into the future. And they're like rolling all this. I'm like, I have no idea. I have a sword that I can swing. And I'm looking at my sheet like, oh my God, this is just too much. But it's a lot of fun. I don't think I would ever want to DM D&D. It's just too much to like memorize. I'm such a minimalist DM. Like I won't have any players that are like, well, actually. And now that I say that, Rev is kind of like that at times because he actually remembers rules. But if somebody's like a rules jockey or something, I'd be like, you're out, because I just don't remember half this stuff. I'm like, well, you know, let's do what's fun. You know what I mean? I'm not going to spend 30 minutes looking this up right now because it's literally going to make the session come to a standstill. And you could do that. That's any game, right? But yeah, it's a lot of fun. At some point, I'll DM again. So look at the head right now. You can see it before we've trimmed it. We got a pretty good amount of material. Now, if we pull it back, this is all the sort of stuff that needs to get trimmed. See all that shorter hairs? Right? And I forgot to do the trimming where you could trim it ahead of time. But like this, so it tapers when you have it sticking off the front. You could trim it straight and it tapers. But what I'm going to do now is let me go to the bathroom. I'm going to wet this. It'll take 2 seconds. I need to wet it. And when it's wet, then we could pull the material back and have a better idea of what we're going to be trimming, right? We can kind of like hold the material, kind of like get the shape where we like it, and then we can kind of guide and trim. So let me go ahead and wet this real quick. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, I've wet it, but it's not sopping wet, so hopefully it doesn't get water everywhere, but so essentially we can kind of just get the material where we like it. Now I'm just kind of doing it like a kinky mother at the moment. I'm specifically keeping my scissors away from hitting any of the lawn or bucktail here. I'm just looking at it and guiding it, right? But I'm just kind of, I don't need to pull it back. I can kind of see the hairs that are the problem ones right now. And I'm just going around using the backdrop to look at it. And now we could pull it back, kind of get a better idea, because when it's wet, it's going to be something like this, right? When you're stripping it. Go into the bathroom to wet the fly. Well, if I was going to pee on it, I would just do it right here. I wouldn't even have to get up. Right? First rule in the book is to disregard any rule that gets in the way. Yep. Now that's the thing, though. I don't regard rules, so I didn't read that rule, so I never got to that point. Hence, they lost me in whatever D&D book you're talking about. No, I'm joking. Well, I don't listen to your rules about the rules, so sorry, not playing your game, D&D. It's like, no, we're telling you to disregard the thing about the rules. Yeah, but I don't play by your rules, Wizards of the Coast. By the way, I had a genius. I mean, we're talking about, I'm going to do this on my second YouTube channel, Mike Rolls Dice. This is how I'm going to get, like, a bajillion subscribers. Well, just they're going to get no views. But the idea is you take your Warhammer terrain, you put it by an ant mound. The ants come out and they're crawling all over it. You wait till a nice sunny day. Then you put your Space Marine out there and you're like, brothers! And it's like Tyranid invasion, like, dun, 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 you know, and it's like all these cool cinematic shots you're doing, and it's the ants are crawling all over. He's like, roar, you know, and you're playing the Space Marine 2 music. So I was thinking about that today. I was like, that's a genius short for YouTube. So nobody steal it, all right? And I'm telling you, that right there, that's got potential. That's got potential. It's too bad I didn't merge Warhammer early on with my fly tying. I feel like I can only talk about it so much before you guys are like, all right, we're getting the hell out of here. So don't worry. I won't subjugate you guys to that sort of content on this channel. That's why I made a second channel. I was tempted. I think in the past I actually posted a DayZ video on my channel because this was before it was ever called Li Flies Mike, I think. This is a long time ago. Back when I was, still posting a bunch of fish and stuff, but. By the way, I don't really want to pull the material back too much because something you notice, this fly, it will be like taut somewhat, but it also is just going to be there's so much spring tension from all of the bucktail that we have underneath and this like sort of hollow tide-esque style. So if you watch it while it's swimming, your fly's not always going to be under complete tension, right? Like if it's in a swim tank with like really fast moving water. So it's kind of nice to kind of like, this is kind of how the fly is going to look essentially. Have you got ants out the backyard? Oh yeah, hell yeah, I got ants. Yeah, it's North America, baby. We got ants everywhere. I've literally sat down over the course of an afternoon. Who knows how many dirty durries I smoked. But I watched red ants and black ants have a war. And they came out of one side, and it was like a scene out of like the Carthaginians fighting the Romans. And it was like there was like thousands of ants in the red and the black ants, and they were just fighting over the course of the day. I've seen it before a couple times. It's really cool if you've ever seen two ant colonies fight each other. I saw it once at my high school, and I sat there for like an hour just watching this battle unfold. And we're talking about like, it's literally like, it's crazy. It's like, you see like, they're just ripping each other's heads off, and there's like thousands of ants dying. It's like, holy. It's wild to see with animals. I couldn't imagine seeing what like a freaking full-scale war with like thousands of people back in the day. That must have been like a horrific sight. I'm telling you right now. But yeah, there's ants everywhere. I forgot you're in Ireland. Do you not have ants in Ireland? It's like the potatoes in the ground keep them out or something. I feel like there's enough sugar in Guinness that you should have some ants trying to crawl into your Guinness that you've left out. Haven't seen them yet? Yeah. Yeah, you got ants. There's ants everywhere, right? Maybe except Antarctica or something is probably the only continent. All right, there we go. There's a bulkhead right there. I don't want to trim it too much. You remember that one by the high school? Yeah, I remember. We were probably blazed out of our minds, too. So it was even more like all we needed was David Attenborough or whatever that guy's name is. Or I don't know if that's I think that's his name to like narrate it. But all right, bulkhead deceiver. You can see I've left it like pretty the ties pretty open, and that's so when it'll compress when it gets stripped, right? I want this to push water. Trench warfare. Them flying ones come out in July and August. Oh yeah, the flying ants. Yeah. It's amazing. Like ants are really cool. I love ants. I know people hate bugs and stuff like that. Spiders are awesome. I love spiders. I mean, I'll take them. I'll put them outside, right? But spiders are sick. I love jumping spiders, wolf spiders. There's always wolf spiders or jumping spiders that I see every year. And they'll like come and like jump on my table, and they're like next to my ashtray and like catch flies and stuff while I'm watching them. I always love there's a lot of cool insects. And I saw the Italian house anole or house lizard I saw last year in my backyard. I've never seen lizards before. Because I know there's like maybe potentially a type of skink that could be on Long Island that I've seen once. But other than garter snakes and snakes, you don't see many reptiles other than turtles and stuff. So, but apparently these are lizards that you find in, they're from like New York City or something. They came in as some sort of Mediterranean Italian house lizard or something. And you find them in Suffolk County and Nassau County in New York City. So it's pretty interesting. I think they got imported or they came in. They're invasive. They came in from, because it almost looked like an anole, but it wasn't. So I don't think it was like released, because I've gotten anoles from carnivals and stuff when I was a kid, stuff like that. This is a lizard that's like now got a population on Long Island, and it's got its roots from New York City from like the 1900s or something. Entomology is so cool. Some alien looking bugs. Yeah, bugs are wild. All right. Well, there we go. We got a couple flies whipped up. It is 8:40. I have to finish my Trench Crusade game. If you guys haven't, check out the new Striper Subsurface Flies video. And let me know what your favorite subsurface flies for striped bass are in the comments so we can help the algorithm out. So the last video did really good. The weighted flies one, I think it's at 1.5K views, which is nothing for YouTube. But, you know, I'm a fairly small channel. So it seems like, you know, more and more people have been watching. So I appreciate everyone that has been tuning in and either watching, of course, the live streams or, you know, whatever videos I've been putting out and stuff. So it really helps with YouTube spreading my content around to new eyes, that sort of stuff. So, but every now and then I see them lizards. Yeah, they come from New York City. It's pretty interesting. I looked it up. I was wondering where the hell these lizards came from because they're not native. I do need to try and throw a raid out to somebody on Twitch because we have so many folks here. We got a raid from Dad Life. We should be nice and return the favor. So let me see, is there anyone that I'm following right now that we could throw a raid out that's interesting? Oh, Brock Brush Studio is airbrushing. Hell yeah. Brock's awesome. He used to airbrush lures. Now he does like, I think like commissions or something with an airbrush. Very cool. And he just started his stream, it looks like a little while ago. So we're going to throw him a raid, I think. I don't like how they have the raids set up and stuff now, but gotta avoid those truck stops. Are we talking about lot lizards? I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Truck stops. Okay, yeah. We're talking about what, like It's Always Sunny or something? All right, well, Brock, by the way, he's doing a beautiful airbrushing of literal hornets coming out of a woman's mouth. Or something. I don't know. It's pure art. So make sure you guys go check him out and say hi. All right. So, oh, he's raiding someone else. Damn it. All right. Well, okay, never mind. We're backing out of that. He's raiding someone else. He was up for 3 hours, I guess. Oh, man. That would have been a perfect raid. I caught that right at the end, right in the right time. Shook is streaming some fishing. We could raid him, of course. Let me see who else. All right. Yeah, we'll raid Shook. He's fishing in Australia, by the way. IRL fishing. So, awesome, dude. It's been a while, too, since we stopped by. So, let's throw him a raid. I always like seeing if there's somebody that's got less viewers and stuff, because Shook's a very well-known, established streamer from Australia on Twitch. For any of you guys that don't know, on YouTube, The Real Shook 1, you could check him out on Twitch. Unfortunately, you guys won't be part of the raid or anything like that. But he used to be a professional Halo player. So maybe some of you guys know him. Because I've mentioned him before, and people are like, oh, that dude used to play Halo? So that was for any OGs that used to love Halo, like me back in the day. But we're going to throw a raid. He's IRL fishing in Australia. Thank you so much, chat, for hanging out and watching. I'm going to get back to filming this Trench Crusade game. So appreciate it. You guys have an awesome night. It looks like they caught a flathead and they're measuring a catfish or something. So we'll see you guys. And to everybody on YouTube, you folks have an awesome night as well. So we'll see you guys, all right? You take it easy. Peace.